Hi guys, this is Mrs. Kalanicki. Sorry I can't be there with you today. I'm actually exploring DC with the 8th graders, which will be you guys next year, so get excited. It's a fun trip. Okay, so hopefully you clicked on this video link after you set up the timer. So right now you should have a calculator. You should have a couple new pages. The new cover, which is Unit 12, which is a blue. It's called Angles. A cool new formatted parent letter. It's actually a parent newsletter. It's got a bunch of information which may be helpful to you as well. And then vocabulary on the back, which has 4 vocabulary words that we're definitely going to be using a lot in Unit 12. And then you got today page 3. So the next page that you should have numbered is this one, and it should say page 3 on it. So I'm going to put a 3 on my page. And today's date is, according to you guys, 4/28/17. All right. So the first question I want you to think about, this is a stop and jot question. So stop what you're doing, think about it, write down an explanation for this. What is a like term, and how do I know I have one? And what I'm going to add to this question is, can you give me an example of 2 things that are that have like terms? 2 things that have like terms. You need to pause the video, but I'm going to go on in a minute. So what is a like term, and how do I know I have one? This is independent, stop and jot. Go. Okay, so a like term is a term that has the same variable and the same exponent. Now, if you had said something about the same letter, that's correct technically, because the variable, another word for a variable is letter. So if you have something that has the same letter in it, then it's technically a like term, as long as it has the same exponent. So some examples, I wrote on my paper 10a, and then I wrote -2a. Both of these are like terms because they both have the same letter and the same exponent. Their exponent right now is a 1. I don't see 1 there, but it is a to the first power. So it does not matter what my coefficients are, or my numbers in front. It just matters what the letter is. Okay, so now we're going to go into a model problem. And I'm going to write the 3 steps that you're going to do with this model problem down here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, let's see if you can stick with me and remember what the 3 steps are. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for like terms, and I'm going to circle it. I'm going to circle it with the sign in front. That sign in front is very important. I want to use up everything in this expression so I can combine it. So my first step is going to be to circle the like terms and their signs. Again, the signs are super, super important. I'm going to shrink this so it fits in my box. Here we go. Okay. After I do that, I am now going to actually combine my like terms. How am I going to combine them? I'm going to combine them by adding. I'm going to take my calculator, and I'm actually opening it right now with you, and I'm going to type in -14 minus 3, because that's what I see in front of me right now. Now, if you had done that differently and you did -14 plus -3, that would also give you the same answer. So I'm going to write the 2 options down. You can either do -14 minus 3. Notice that's just the numbers and just the symbols that are in front of me. Or on my calculator, I could also do -14 plus -3. So I can always add or combine the like terms by adding. So I'm going to write that in my step number 2. Step 2 is combine, and I can write add the like terms. Add or combine the like terms. Once I combine them, in my calculator, this gives me, let's get my pen back, this gives me negative 17. So I'm going to write negative 17, but, ooh, that's terrible, sorry. I'm going to write negative 17, but I need to finish that term by placing the letter B back next to it. So these had B's in it, these B's will go together. So negative 17B. And then I just have the 16 kind of floating around. I can just stick it in the front, right here. Another way to rewrite it, if I really wanted to, and I'm just going to write it on the side here, because I tend to like having the variable in the front, is I'm just going to take the 16, I'm going to put it in the back, but now I need a symbol here, and because that's positive, I'm just going to write plus 16. So either one of these is right. I kind of prefer this one just because the variable is in the front term. And I cannot add any more. Why can't I add any more? They are not like terms. This one has a B, this one doesn't have a B. So it's very simple. So my third step is just to rewrite the expression with my, obviously, combined term. So I'm rewriting it. I took the negative 14 and the negative 3, I made negative 17, and I wrote 16 either in front of it or behind it, depending on how you want to do it. So I'm rewriting it, double checking for any other combining of like terms. Okay, so now this is a U2 which means with a partner that Ms. Freifeld or the sub will be selecting randomly with sticks or assigning. You are going to try to do this one using the 3 steps that are above. So you have the steps in front of you. Pause the video, try this one, come back, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so here's how you do it. First step was to circle the like term. So I'm going to circle this like term, which is 6K, and the sign in front of this guy, positive 4K. And again, in my calculator, I can just do the signs in the front, and I'm going to get 10, and I'm going to put a K next to that. Now I'm looking, I also have other like terms. These numbers, I'm going to, I guess, try to box it. Of course, my circles kind of look like boxes too, but I have black here, so that'll help show the 2 differences. I'm going to box these 2 out because these 2 are also like terms. They're just numbers by themselves. So I can add numbers with numbers. You've been doing it since you were in, I don't know, 1st grade, kindergarten. So in my calculator, I'm now going to do negative 10 minus 18. And again, I can always rewrite it as negative 10 plus negative 18. But my calculator, I'm going to do negative 10 minus 18, and I'm going to get negative 28. And all I do now is I just put these 2 pieces together. So my final answer is 10K minus 28. Again, I can't add these 2 because these are not like terms. There we go. Okay, so now we move to the back. What you're going to do depends on how Ms. Freifeld and the sub felt that you worked. What I did is I broke this next page up. Half of the questions say practice problems, then half of them say just right challenge. If you feel confident with this, if you've been doing this in lab, which I know a few of you have, then you may want to go right to the just right challenge. Those are a little more challenging. They have a little more negative signs, a little more complex terms. If you really haven't had practice on this and you've been doing, let's say, the ratios during lab, you may want to do the first half first and check the answers with my answer key with Ms. Freifeld or the sub, and then move forward if needed. But what I want you to do is I want you to try these, and again, we can give you more support on this page of questions, and then the next page of questions I'd really like you to do independently. So pause the video, try these out, again, maybe working with a partner, maybe working by yourself, choosing the questions that you want to try, either the top ones are a little easier for those of you who haven't had the practice, or the bottom ones are a little harder for those of you who did do some of this practice in lab. Pause the video and I'm going to go over this page when you get back. Okay, so we didn't go over one like this before, but let's see if you remembered what to do. There should be a number 1 in front of any variable that does not have a coefficient. So there should be a 1 here. Hopefully you added it. So now, same steps. I'm going to circle the like terms and I'm going to combine them. 1 plus 11 makes 12, and I'm going to stick the R next to it, and that's it. That's as simple as it goes. Same thing here. Circle those like terms. 15K plus 10. I'm going pretty quick. Next one, here are the like terms, 14S and a negative 1S. So 14 minus 1 in my calculator will get me 13S. And just going to add the 6 on when I'm done. There we go. Next one has 2 like terms. These guys are alike. So I'm going to add those first. 7 minus 12. Again, I can do that in my calculator. Or I can do 7 plus negative 12. Up to you. And then I'm going to combine these guys together. Positive 5 plus positive 10 makes positive 15. And there we go. Pause the video if you need to. I'm moving on. Okay, the Just Right challenge questions. Again, challenge yourself. Do what you need to do in order to reach your highest potential. 15 plus 12 makes 27. Again, I like to put the numbers by themselves at the end. And I have a 6p plus 7p makes 13p. And because this was a positive 27, I'm going to stick a plus sign in between the two variables. If you write it this way, that is also correct because addition is commutative. That means, I'm doing my finger move, that means you could change the order of the numbers, of the terms, and it would still be the same answer. All right, this one, like term, combine them. I get negative 16c, and a negative 8 plus 10 makes positive 2. Moving down the line, this one has all of these are like terms. So be very careful when you stick them in your calculator. Negative 8 minus 5 plus 7 should get you negative 6, D. This one has 2 like terms here. A negative 8 minus 4 makes negative 12, and a negative 12 and a negative 19 makes a negative 31. And there we go. Hopefully these are getting easier for you. Again, the last page is going to be practice. It's a little easier actually, but it's just more practice so that way you're very comfortable with doing these. When I get back on Monday, what we're going to be doing is solving equations. Remember, these are expressions. They do not have an equal sign. But on Monday, we're going to be doing something like this where we're solving where they're equal to a number. And I'm going to have to solve for C, or solve for P, or D, or X. So those are the kinds of ones we're going to do on Monday. So this opportunity, now that you've had enough practice, I think these are a little easier even than the ones on the other page. So try these by yourself, pause the video, come back, and get ready to go over them. All right, hope you're back. Here we go. So we're simplifying these expressions. Again, like terms. I got negative 6 and a positive 7, which makes 1k. I could also just write k as my answer because technically these are the same, so it's up to you how you want to write it. This 12r does not have any like terms, so I'm just going to write 12r, but these two are alike. A negative 8 and a negative 12 makes negative 20. Again, don't go combining crazy. These are not like terms, so do not add the final two terms together. Oh, missing a 1. 1n plus 9n makes 10n. And be careful, because what I'm doing right now is I'm messing it up where I almost can't see that this is a negative sign. So be very careful when you circle your terms, so that way you don't cross over some of the signs and miss what it is. And then I have negative 10 and negative 3, which makes negative 13. You get good enough with these, you start doing them in your head, so be aware. I have negative 4 and a negative 10. When I combine them together, I get negative 14, right? Same signs add. Oh, is that coming back to you? Do you remember that? There's a negative 1r and a negative 10r again. Same signs add. I'm going to add those two numbers. I'm going to get negative 11r. And my final one on the top half, 6 plus negative 2 makes, positive 4x. And that plus 11 is just going to stay by itself. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Again, pause if you need to. I'm going to move on to the second half of the page. Okay, here we go. 11r minus 12r. Again, you're just putting this right in your calculator. 11 minus 12 is negative 1. Negative 1 what? Negative 1r. I'm going to put a little 1 here. Negative 1 plus 12 makes 11v. Negative 8 minus 11 makes a negative 19x. These are 6p, nice and positive. 4 plus 2. 5 plus 11, again, both positive, nice and easy to do. Almost in your head. And this final one, I might need a 1 here. These are different signs. I subtract them and take the sign of the larger number. Same thing with these guys. Subtract, take the sign of the larger number. All right. Hope you had some good practice with this today. This is a little bit of a review. We have done this already this year. So hopefully you kind of refreshed your memory a little bit. On Monday, again, we're going to be solving equations with like terms. And eventually we're going to be using that to help us with our angles. Because you're probably asking yourself, Miss Kay, what does this have to do with angles? It does, because what the angle questions aren't just going to be what kind of angle it is. They might label the angle with an expression, and you're going to have to write an equation to solve that for that angle. So that's something we're going to be doing on Monday and through the rest of this unit. Hope all is going well. No homework for Friday, yay. So hope you guys have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Oh, bye.